As a part of microcontroller and its application course. Now we are discussing under chapter 4, so various points related to PIC18XX family, pinout, architecture, instruction set, features, registers, and definitely with PIC18 we will be writing codes, various programs for various operations. So for that, assembly language programming and embedded C, these are the two options. So out of that, for assembly language programming, along with instruction set, the programmer must know about directives and data types which are available. So as a part of this presentation, we will be discussing about directives, data types, and some of the basic rules which are to be followed while placing the instruction or writing in general assembly language program. Objective of our session is to summarize about directives which will be used in this particular PIC18 based programs, then outline assembly language programming basics and data types which are available. So list the data types or the formats which we can use. Now first of all, assembler directives. So in general, while instructions tell the CPU what to do, directives, also called pseudo instructions, give direction to the assembler. Like for example, when we write instruction like move LW or add LW, then these are nothing but the commands to the CPU. But in case where we are writing ORG or end or EQU or DB, these are the directives to the assembler. In the following section, we will be discussing about which directives are available with PIC in assembly language programming. So first one is the set directive. This directive is used to define a constant value or a fixed address. In this regard, the set and EQU directives are identical. The only difference is the value assigned by the set directive may be reassigned later. So this you have to remember. With EQU directive, we are not able to reassign. It is fixed. Second one is EQU directive. So this is used to define a constant value or a fixed address. The EQU directive does not set aside storage for data item, but associates a constant number with a data or an address label, so that when the label appears in the program, its constant will be substituted for the label. In general, we are using it. The following say uses EQU for the counter constant, and the constant is used to load WREG register. You can see here one small example like count EQU 0x25. So 25 I have written. So meaning is that wherever we are writing COUNT as a count, as the one word which we are using, and that particular word indicates whatever is the value assigned, like using EQU directive. So here it is 0x25. So by default, when we write, like say below that, I've written a small instruction like move LW. So count, then WREG. LW corresponds to the W register. So W is our worked register, and there it will load the value which is labeled, or rather we can say that which is say stored by means of one name, that is count. So when executing the above instruction move LW count, the register WREG will be loaded with the value 25. So what is the main advantage? Then basically, when we assume a constant or a fixed value is used throughout the program, the programmer wants to change its value everywhere. By the use of EQ, the programmer can change it once and the assembler will change all its occurrences throughout the program, rather than search the entire program trying to find every occurrence. Meaning is a simple thing that something we want to use repeatedly in the program, and if suppose we want to suddenly change its value, in the beginning say one variable we have used a, and in the beginning we are assigning a is equal to 10. Now in the whole program a might be used 3 4 5 times. Now instead of 10, now I want to give 20. So if I'm locally declaring that a wherever required, So everywhere at every place we have to make that 20 as a change. But if instead of that we write declare it in the beginning using equate directive, like in case of C programs we used to use the macro definitions with hash define and something we define, and then we repeatedly use it in our program. So if anytime we want to change, only in that one line we can change in the beginning part of our program, and then it will automatically get altered. So this is same thing in assembly language. This facility is available with EQ. Then there is ORG directive. As we know that ORG is basically used to indicate the beginning of the address. It can be used for both code and data. The number that comes after ORG must be in hexadecimal. This you have to remember. Then end directive is there. This is a pseudo code like kind of a directive, end directive. This indicates to the assembler the end of the source ASM file. The end directive is last line of that particular program, peak program, meaning that anything after the end directive in the source code is ignored by the assembler. There is a list directive. So unlike org and end which are used by assemblers, the list directive is unique to the peak assembler. So it is not there in the microcontroller 8051. It indicates to the assembler the specific peak chip for which the program should be assembled. So we can mention the particular peak, like here it is list P is equal to 18F458. So we are using peak 18F458 458 microcontroller. So we use list to state the target chip. Hash include directive. The hash include directive tells the peak assembler to use the libraries associated with the specific chip for which we are compiling the program. So we can mention there. Then config directive. The config directive tells the assembler the configuration bits for the targeted peak chip. It is important to use correct config directive because incorrect use may make chip unusable. So you have to remember this. The configuration bits are read during power up of the peak device and are stored at a location 30,000 30000H. So microchip has defined the config directive symbols to ease the configuration. These symbols are located in the .include file for the device that is being used. So we have a configuration option, and those bits you can you use the way you want to in your program. Radix directive, we can use the radix directive to indicate whether the numbering system is hexadecimal or decimal. So default is hexadecimal. So if we do not use the radix directive, if we use radix DEC, say for example, then the default representation will change to decimal, and any unformatted number will be interpreted as decimal rather than hexadecimal directly, as we mentioned just earlier. Now we will go through some of the rules which you should remember while writing assembly language program. So by choosing the label names that are meaningful, the programmer can make a program much easier to read and maintain. This thing you have to be particular about. Like when you are writing a code at that time, when you are putting any jump, whenever you are say indicating what exactly is happening because of that jump, or whenever you are calling some routines like delay routine may be there or any other. So in that case, if we label it properly, then definitely it will be easy for us to understand. It will become more meaningful. So this you have to remember. There are several rules that names must follow, definitely. First, each label must be unique one. You can't repeat the label in one program. The names used for labels in assembly language programming consist of alphabetic letters in both upper and lower case and digits 0 to 9, that is alphanumeric characters as we say, and the special characters question mark, period, that is dot, and at the rate, underline, dollar sign, The first character of the label must be an alphabetic character, compulsory. In other words, it cannot be a number. Every assembler has some reserved words that must not be used as labels in the program. Um, then among the reserved words, there may be mnemonics of the instructions like move WL, add WL. Okay, so they are reserved because they are instruction mnemonics. In addition to mnemonics, there are some other reserved words like the directives, and even there are some other reserved words as well. So uh, you have to refer always in advance which are the reserved words. General structure of assembly language program, which is including instructions. The instruction is having four fields. There may be a label, then mnemonic, then operand, and then semicolon. In front of that you can write the comment. Like say for example, if suppose you have some sort of instruction like DJ and Z, or say for example jump, any jump kind of instruction, then that instruction will be having some label behind. It requires some label, so where to jump, like that. So, and target address, you may write the comment. Suppose somewhere from instead of jump, any general instruction you are using, and the jump instruction is giving target address of that particular instruction. So there you can put label. Brackets indicate that a field is optional and not all lines have them. That is your particular comment or what. Bracket should not be typed in. Regarding the above format, the following points must be remembered here. You just see. I have intentionally just written each and everything, because if you refer this, definitely you will able to remember what exactly is to be followed. The label field allows the program to refer to a line of code by name. The label field cannot exceed certain number of characters. In general, you have to remember this rule. The assembly language mnemonic, like instruction and operands fields together, perform the real work of the program and accomplish the task for which the program was written. So, in general, if we write move LW55H, say for example, add LW67H, so it is doing whatever task is assigned. So that is currently it carried out. The comment field begins with semicolon, the comment indicator, that is semicolon. Comments may be at the end of line or a line by themselves. The assembler ignores comments, but they are indispensable to programmers. Although comments are optional, it is recommended that they must be used to describe the program in a way that makes it easier for someone else to read and understand. So you can add comments. Now this is one small program just for the sake of illustration. So somewhere like some we want to store at a file register location, say 10H. Now we have first of all assigned name to that address, 10H address. So what I have written, first line as sum EQU 10H. So that is the RAM location 10H, and it is labeled now or named as sum. Now our program is here, org 0H, so starting address is 0. Now the instruction is move LW 25H. So whatever we are writing in front, so that is copied that to W register, that is the work register WREG. So it will get loaded with 25. Now the next instruction I have written add LW 0x34. So meaning is add 34 to WREG, because by default add LW is there. So W is already having 25. So in that it will add 34. Now suppose I have written add LW 11H. Again it will add. Now add LW, I have written D and then single quote 18. So here it is, D corresponds to decimal 18, and whatever you have in W, in that instead of the decimal 18, the assembler will convert it into hexadecimal. So decimal 18 corresponds to 1 2 hexadecimal. So whatever is in W, in that 1 2 will get added and the answer will be there. So earlier addition is 25 plus 34 plus 1 1. So whatever is coming as a total sum, so in that it is going to add 1 2h. Now once again I have written add LW 1ch. So again in that it will add 1c. Now suppose I have written add LW B single quote 000000110. So binary pattern, B is indicating binary number. So in front of B there is 8-bit pattern, so that is indicating value 6. So whatever earlier contents are there in W, in that 6 will get added. Now I have written move WF sum. So whatever is in bulk register now is to be transferred to F. Move WF file register. File register is located by 10H address and that 10H address is labeled as sum. So using equate directive, EQU directive, we have named that file address RAM location as sum. So therefore the instruction is written as move WF sum. Now last one is stay here forever. That is we don't just want to we want to tell the assembler that remain in the loop there itself. So therefore we are using go to here. In 8051 we used to write sjump. So here it is go to. And then the last instruction is end. So this is end of ASM source. Simple program. Like I wanted to tell you about how to use directive, how to use data type in that, like number representation in decimal, in hexadecimal, in binary, like that, and some basic instructions. So likewise, just this code has included all those things. As far as data format representation is considered, there are 4 ways in general to represent byte of data in peak assembler. The numbers can be in hexadecimal, binary, decimal or ASCII format. So for example, here one by one we will go through quickly. So hex numbers are there. There are 4 ways to show hex numbers. We can use small h or capital H right after the number, like see here move LW 99H capital H. So this is hexadecimal 99. We can put 0x in front of the number, like move LW 0x99. This is also indicating that 99 is to be treated as a hexadecimal number. Then third way is put nothing in front or back of the number. Simply write move LW99. It will understand. Put H in front of number but with single quotes around the number. This is also one more method, like move LW small h and immediately after that single quote and whichever number, that number again single quote complete. So like that also you can represent hexadecimal number. Here these are some of the say simple representations. Move LW 25 WREG, so is equal to 25H. Add LW 0x11. So here say for example in that 25 it will add 1 hexadecimal. So it is giving 36 hexadecimal. Now once again add LW 12H. So again in this 36H which is already there, in that it will add 12H. So it is becoming 48H. Now again I have written add LW capital H single quote 2A. So 48 is there hexadecimal, in that 2A will get added. So there A plus 8, it is going to become decimally 18 or hexadecimally 1 2. So that's why that 2 is in the lower byte position and 1 is taken as a carry. So 4 plus 2 plus 1. So that is becoming 6 plus 1 7. So answer is 7 to H. Once again add LW 2CH. So now WREG is already having 7 to H. In that 2C will get added. So lower byte that is C and 2. C plus 2 is D and E. C plus 1 D plus 1 E. So therefore it is E and 7 plus 2 is 9. Therefore the answer is 9EH. This is the way. Now here see, just move LW E5H. If we write like this, so it will not able to understand. This is invalid notation, it will give you error. So there, whenever it is coming from the range A to F hexadecimal, any symbol you are using, then you have to just attach 0. It is to be preceded by 0. Suppose add LWC6 I have written, so this is invalid. You have to write add LW0C6. So this is mandatory. Now binary numbers. Here there is only general way, simple way, like you have to attach B, move LWB, single quote, whatever binary number, bytes, whatever byte is there, you write there. That is WRG, REG is containing that particular number. The lowercase b will also work, no problem. Just note that the single quote key, which is one of the same key as double quote, this is different from other assemblers such as 8051 and x86. Like you can have a single quote, or there compulsorily you have to use double quote if it is a multi-bit pattern. So that you. Then there are decimal numbers. There are two ways to represent decimal numbers in peak assembler. One way is like move LW capital D single quote, you can write the number, or it is the lowercase d will also work. Again, this is different from other assemblers such as 8051 or 86. In those assemblers, to indicate decimal numbers, we simply use decimal, that is number, and nothing before or after it. While in peak assembler, 1 2 is default for hexadecimal numbers. There are some other examples you can see here, like capital D 37. So WREG will become 25H because 37 decimal is 25 in hexadecimal. You can see that 16 2 ZAR, so it is 32, and that is 37 divided by 16. If you do, then 2, and remainder is 5, so that is becoming 25. Then D17 17, so it will make 17. Add LW I have written. So earlier there is 37, in that it will add 17, total will become 54 in decimal, and in hexadecimal it will become 36. The other way to represent decimal numbers is to use value, like some applications they are having this particular feature, dot 12. So 0C, that is decimal 12. Move LW dot notation you can use, dot value. Now there are ASCII characters. So to represent ASCII data in peak assembler, we use the letter A. We have to attach A. Like say for example, move LW A and single quote 2. So meaning is WREG will contain 0011 0010, because in the BCD to ASCII conversion, what we do, you have to add 30 in that. Whatever BCD number is there, in that you have to add 30. So there is 2. 2 will get added with 30. So it will become 32. Same thing. Lowercase a will work, no problem. Again, this is different from other assemblers such as 8051 or 86. In those assemblers, single quotes are used for single ASCII character and double quotes are used for the multiple ASCII characters, that is string. Now, for example, move LWA single quote 9. So WREG will contain 30 plus 9, that is 39. Add LWA single quote 1. So what it will do? WREG will contain containing already 39. In that, now it will add ASCII 1, means 30 plus 1 31. So 39 plus 31, that will become 70H. 31 exists for ASCII 1. Move LW single quote 9. So WREG will make it 39. So this is the way. Without letter A also, in single quote if you write, so it will treat it as ASCII character. So these are some of the ways by means of which you can represent the data in assembly language programming, or maybe in even embedded C with peak controllers.